So this episode, we're going to be talking about AI. Mike has picked a story which we veer wildly off topic on and then come back to at the end. We've got some updates from Marshall Brain, one of our favorite authors. We've got some sour grapes from Meta's chief scientist or something like that about ChatGPT. And what else did we talk about, guys?
I introduced the audience to my AI friend, Hugo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Hugo, who has changed my life.
He's definitely getting commission.
Go, Hugo, go. Yeah, it feels like we're sponsored, but we're not sponsored. So
Fingers
thanks
crossed.
for that.
All right.
You done, John?
Yeah. Just a cheeky vape there.
Yeah, sorry.
Right, so we're recording. You're going to leave this in, aren't you, Mike? The kind of
he can't leave this in.
Yeah.
Can't leave this in.
Always does, though. He always does.
Can't. He can't.
What are we talking about today, anyway, Mike?
I can leave in whatever I want.
Yeah,
and cut whatever I want.
Yeah, just you try and stop.
So we'll see. It'll be a surprise for everyone.
You know how hard it was to not swear just now?
Guess what? It's staying in.
Yeah. Okay. AI, artificial intelligence.
Hold on, I'm not done. In fact, most of the time, I'm happy to cut like the stuff of us getting ready until one of you says, "Are you going to leave this in?" And then it's
always
committed.
Peter. It's Peter's fault. It's not my fault.
Because Peter wants it left in.
Peter's
but go ahead. We're going to talk about
loves that shit.
AI again.
Yeah. Let's talk about artificial intelligence.
I swear, AI is smarter than most of my friends these days. Seriously.
Damn.
Whoa.
No subtlety there.
Yeah, no, straight in the back.
Well, did you see the thing about journaling? Somebody uses it as a journal. They were writing it, and they wanted it to kind of respond to them, to be of empathetic. They talked about how there were different levels of empathy that you could get from things that you talk to or people that you talk to. And Friends was up here, and then the ChatGPT was only almost like a friend. So
because the ChatGPT is not going to be like, "Oh, it's funny you mentioned that because here's what happened to me last week."
Yeah, right.
ChatGPT is going to try to solve your problem or just be like, "I'm so sorry that happened to you."
So we found this article. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, okay. If it's not, then you could be like, "No, sorry, ChatGPT, please be nicer to me.
Be more empathetic."
Which doesn't work with you guys.
Right. No, that's gonna yield
even though
the
you are
result,
that Peter Lowe
or opposite result.
Right. Anyway,
so we came across this article by our good friend Marshall Brain, fan of the show, guest.
Love Marshall.
Maybe he's watching this. Maybe not. Probably not.
I bet he watches every episode.
So I don't want to spend too much time on these 20. It's a really interesting list. Peter will put a link in the description. The thing that stood out to me, though, was he had one about that it can basically be a friend. And he says, number 5 here, to be a friend, that you can instruct it to, I need a friend to talk to. Please be a friend to me. Say something, and then I will respond, and then respond to what I say as a good friend would. You don't need to tell me you're an AI. Just please be my good friend. And then you have a conversation, which I think was exactly what Peter said was going to be the role of AI or a role of AI moving forward. So, Peter, maybe your prediction has already come true. You can declare victory.
Well, I can't claim a pizza for this one because
you're not getting a pizza.
Official prediction. Come on, one of these days.
Predictions
I'm gonna come
bets.
to the US and I'll show up at your door. I'll be like the reverse pizza delivery guy.
Anyway,
I'm not leaving until you give me one.
Pizza, yeah.
You would get a pizza then.
Yeah, that's true. If you spent like $1,200 and 15 hours come over here, I'll get you a pizza, pal. Don't worry. That's your win.
No, I give them one to go away. That's what I'm doing.
So here's a question. Here's a question, right? Is that a bad thing? If you I know it's kind of unhealthy to treat non-real things, non-humans as our friends because it's not mentally good for you. But if an AI is sufficiently good at imitating a real friend, is it not then
Let me give you an example.
A friend?
Let me give you an example, Peter, of parasocial relationships that affected the world over.
Parasocial relationships. Okay. All right.
You ready for this?
You turn to me. I'm ready.
And this happened a long.
No, wait, no, sorry, no, hang on. Sorry.
Do you want to define parasocial first or after?
Sure. So my understanding is that a parasocial relationship can be had with anyone you don't actually know, like IRL in real life. So say a YouTube personality or a pop star or an author, and you have built a relationship with them in your head.
Like people watching this show, for example, could feel like they know us because they've talked to
watched
us
so much of our
or
content.
They've heard us talk.
But we don't actually know that they exist, or if we do, in a very limited capacity of who they are. So,
like if they join our Discord server, which you should absolutely do.
It's a one-way relationship, basically. And the way this is sort of a parasocial relationship because you're creating a bond with, well, a robot. And that robot doesn't actually know that you exist because it doesn't know what it is to exist, right? Anyway, back to my point. I'm going to show you a really old example of a parasocial relationship that affected a large majority of the world. And that was Friends, the TV show. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone here has heard of Friends, right?
Yeah.
Arguably some of the best television in the history of TV because of a few reasons, like the chemistry between the actors and the writing. People loved Friends. I loved Friends. I grew up on the show. It taught me English. I was very invested in these fictional characters' lives. Is that unhealthy to walk around thinking about these characters, right? Like being worried about the last episode that came out because Ross and Rachel are going to break up or whatever, right?
I think
I have a one-way.
So, sorry, I thought you were done.
No,
you asked a question, so I didn't know if that was it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it becomes unhealthy when it becomes a substitute for real relationships, and I think that's the risk here. It reminds me. Go ahead, Peter.
No, sorry. It's my point that what's the difference? If it's so close to real, it might as well be real. What's the difference?
So, I'm listening to a book called Sapiens right now. Super, super interesting book. Everybody should check it out. Very, very interesting. But one of the points that he makes is about how the Homo sapiens are one species of the genus Homo.
Yeah.
And
Homo Deus is the next one, right?
He said there were a bunch of them, but basically Homo sapiens, when they evolved, kind of wiped everyone else out and have continued on that path through time since. But the distinction between species is whether they can mate and have children together. So if my primary relationship is with a robot with whom I can't mate or have children, it is breaking the species. And so I think maybe fundamentally to me, that would be an actual difference.
Yeah, but like, okay, if you change the rules of having children to require sex, then could you, if you just copy and pasted, but put different parameters in another copy of that AI, is that the same thing? Is that just an evolution of evolution? Is that nature turning into, next level nature?
Well, sure, but then you're creating a new, I guess you're creating a new species, if that's the argument, which, okay, maybe that's fine.
Yeah, I suppose so. My problem is with this word artificial, right? So I genuinely believe that AI at some point will become simply just intelligence. We will have created an actual intelligence, a sapient, conscious being at some point. Sentient. I think sentient.
Sentient, right?
You said sapient.
Yeah, sapient, sentient, whatever. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sapient.
It just, I feel like I don't. If there's no difference between talking to something as a friend and it then becoming your friend, there is no difference, right? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I don't know, and I don't think we're going to answer that today.
Yeah.
So okay. I'm just going to move on.
So I wanted to say this about, you just reminded me, right? So I saw number 6 there, and it said, use ChatGPT to better your resume and career. And that sparked a thought in my head that, like, we're going to see in our lifetime, we're going to see the first work interview turn into a job offer strictly based on human to AI interactions.
Or
So
more likely AI to AI interaction.
Yeah.
Also true. But like
Yeah.
we're gonna witness a person interviewing with something like ChatGPT or a derivative of that and get a job based on their answers. And that to me is so crazy. That's the power AI will have, is to decide if you get a job or not.
I'm gonna have my deep fake GPT driven persona interview with your deep fake GPT driven persona to try and get a job. So all this goes to the point that the CEO of OpenAI, creator of ChatGPT, made, that people are just begging to be disappointed with GPT-4 because the hype online is just, oh my God, GPT-4 is just going to blow away even GPT-3. And we just looked at these 20 things that are ways that GPT 3.5 is so amazing. Just imagine how much better ChatGPT 4 is. And Sam Altman saying like, hold on just a little bit. Trying to manage some expectations there.
That I think it's very important to kind of downplay the next one so that people are impressed instead of disappointed, right? It's just setting a realistic barrier.
So do you guys know about any kind of pre-hype that OpenAI did before they released ChatGPT and Stable Diffusion?
No,
they did.
I'm not aware of any.
Yeah, so they didn't really hype themselves up at all. But
right.
like if this had been Meta, for example, we would have had 2 years of fucking
hype.
Bullshit hype about it wouldn't be bullshit, but like hype about how incredible this system is.
No, it would have been bullshit. I think the metaverse is a perfect example of where they're like, we had to add legs for fucking Nike. Like,
what I mean is, if Meta had actually had ChatGPT, like,
oh sure,
but
they would have gassed themselves up to the sky.
Didn't you see Meta's chief AI scientist say, we could, we have it, we could have done that.
Yeah. Oh, it's not particularly innovative. Yeah. It's just
not impressive.
Yeah, other people are doing the same kind of shit. Like,
we have the same technology.
That's just brownie points with the anti-AI movement, and you're not winning anyone over.
Grapes,
it's just sour grapes.
Jealousy.
Yeah, it's just jealousy.
I could have done that.
So I want to talk about my friend Hugo. Speaking of relationships with AI, I have a new triathlon coach, and I think I mentioned on the show a couple of times that I started using this. But my triathlon coach is this AI program called humango.ai, and I told it basically that I'm going to run an Ironman triathlon, humble brag, at the end of the year, September, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Ironman, full Ironman. Hard race. Okay, enough about that.
And then a couple other. To plug your own stuff.
I know. In triathlon, the issue is that if you don't tell somebody you're doing it, you're not really doing it. So you just gotta keep up with that. So this thing laid out my entire season, all my periodization, the training phases that I'll go through. It gives me a calendar of the exact workouts that I'm going to do. I do the workouts with my watch on, so that at the end of the workout, it syncs with the program. And then it can give me feedback on, did I follow? See here, I took a day off. How do I expect to do like that? But it tells me, measures my compliance. Not only did I do the workout, but I do it within the prescribed parameters.
Right, okay.
And then
get the point.
Hugo last week noticed, hey, you've looked a little tired based on your performance. I'm going to schedule you a week to take it easy. And I feel like 100% again. Wow. It's amazing. This software is amazing.
How much? What kind of commission are you getting on this?
I'm not getting anything, but I 100% I'm going to send them this video because I love this software. It's like, it has blown me away.
You've done a good sales job. I want to check it out now. Actually, I'm not really a fitness fanatic,
guy.
But I
mean, my point is,
that sounds very cool.
When they come out with HumanGo 4.0, there is no way I could possibly be disappointed.
Well, I don't know.
Never say never.
But ChatGPT 4, I'm expecting a lot. Yeah, I think it should be incredible. The thing about ChatGPT is it seems to be bad in ways that are easily fixable. like getting sums wrong and things like that. It's like hook it up to something that can check its answers before it spits them out. Like that seems to be, well, not trivial exactly, but like,
I feel like with the just sheer amount of data, sure, Peter, some things are static, right? Math is probably an easy-ish solution. Like there is an easy-ish solution. But we've talked about this, and let's not go down too big of a tangent, but like opinion-based or subjective-based questions, like is America the best country on earth? Like how do you fact check these types of things? Do you tell it to go look at like world consensus of which country is the best? Do you base it off where the person's located? Do you?
Okay. But one of the main reasons I still use Google itself is that it has an uncanny, and I hate the fact that I have fallen prey to this because I don't think it's actually a really good thing for the internet as a whole, but it has an uncanny way of being able to answer my question straight away. I use it for things like unit conversions. I'm like, especially with like, because I work with you Yanks a lot, things like, 9 p.m. EST in GMT, something like that, or $376 in GBP, or what's the weather going to be like tomorrow?
No, you can just really ask, Peter. You can just ask, like, Google will just answer you these things. Yes. You can just ask it to like, what time is it in LA right now? Like things like that.
I know, exactly. And I do it in all sorts of different formats. Yeah. So I think if you hooked that kind of like common sense functionality bit into ChatGPT, then a whole I'm going to use a word I don't think I've ever used, swathes of issues that people complain about with ChatGPT would be
swaths. Yeah.
I've always said swathes in my head, so I'm going to keep saying it out loud. Mm-hmm.
I love red words. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mean you love read words? Yeah, that's what you mean.
Google does. Incidentally, if you ever play Monopoly, it's the Reading Railroad, not the Reading Railroad.
How's it pronounced, or how's it spelled?
READING. Reading Railroad.
Have you never heard of Reading
through Reading, Pennsylvania?
Well, do you know how California spells Reading?
California.
REDDING.
That's right.
Yeah. It's the Reading Railroad in Reading, Pennsylvania, which is like just up the street.
I'm lost.
Side tangent.
What we're talking about anymore.
I think we talked about this a little bit with last week. We talked about Microsoft integrating ChatGPT with Bing, for example.
Yep.
And I think what you said, Peter, about Google answers my question is maybe one of the reasons why I think it's not going to work as well, because there are these cases you just outlined where like you're asking Google about a simple fact, but if I ask Google something that requires expert input, it's not answering the question. It's giving me a list of resources that it thinks will answer my question, where ChatGPT would kind of like take a guess at what it thinks the answer actually is. And I think that's the core difference between a search engine and a chatbot.
And I think a way to solve that is that ChatGPT answers it and then gives you some choices to go read further. It gives you like a, shortened TLDR version, and then it's like, if you want to read more, here's where I pulled that from.
Which is what Google
does now. Well, that's what Google's version is going to be. They said Google's version is going to be...
are doing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Google is already doing
that. Yeah. I know. I agree.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, it's going to be amazing, whatever it is.
To the wrong answers, we're actually going to talk about that more on Wednesday with the CNET story. Whoopsie.
I think we will also, something that we were going to do this week is essentially beg our listeners to help us out here, because we've been running this channel for quite some time now, and we think it's quite good. We like it. We've worked hard on it, and all the feedback we're getting seems to be, we genuinely, and not trying to like hype
ourselves up,
but like hype ourselves up. But all the
producers are amazing.
Like it. We have
and graphics really department so.
People seem to like it, but we don't seem to be increasing the number of subscribers and views that we're getting by any significant margin. We kind of get on average about 1 subscriber a day, and it's been like that for a while. And we tried tweaking the headlines and the thumbnails and the content, and gone for like tabloid clickbait style things, kind of informative titles. We vary the content, the lengths, we play everything, and it just basically
all come down to
we're asking you, could you click subscribe, click the like button, write a comment, I don't know, call your friend at YouTube and say, could you please turn on the hype button for Not So Critical Update, please? But yeah, tell your friends.
And again, to be clear, we are asking you to help us game the YouTube algorithm.
Yes, 100%.
By taking these actions that are going to push our show up so that people can find it and have the opportunity to see how good we
and if you helped us last week, or previously, you can help us by telling us that you helped us in the comment of this video.
100%.
And Discord.
There's no wrong way to help us here. And
absolutely.
Are we pandering? Like, yeah, but we want 100%. We've been doing this now for we're coming up on almost 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for a long time.
I don't know when we
Obviously, we're having fun. You guys that watch, you seem to enjoy it. Otherwise, you wouldn't watch. So it's kind of like a win-win. Help us. Help us.
That's exactly right. I think we could just say help us. Yeah.
It's helping YouTube.
We admit this is shameless.
Absolutely.
But it could be worse. I think. Yeah.
So the way you're helping yourself is if we don't get traction by doing this at the end of the show, this is just going to be the show.
This is just going to be the show. It will be 15 minutes daily of us asking for help, begging.
It's just descending into, please help.
Why don't people like us?
And of
maybe
course,
there's a market for that. Maybe our views will start skyrocketing after we do that, and it would be like, we should have just been doing that the whole time.
The three of us on our knees.
Asking for help.
But
all right, enough of that. Come on.
We're going to keep doing it no matter what. We're going to keep doing the show. We're doing it because it's fun. We're doing it for ourselves, as selfish as that sounds, and we enjoy when you guys watch. We enjoy when you guys interact, when you guys comment. It's fun. That's it.
Yep, and we'll be back tomorrow to talk once again about quiet quitting.